to The Journey. We are happy today to have Maria Edenbo with us, and I'm eager to hear her story. I think I heard it a while back, but we're going to go and find out again. So thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, you're a newish member. Can I say that? Newish member. So let's start at the beginning. How did you find out about St. Joseph?
Google.
Wow.
Pretty much. I just decided that I wanted to. I moved into my new home and I started seeing these really pretty sunrises. And I wanted to say, thank you to God. I hadn't been to church in probably 20 plus years at this point. Well, I did go, but briefly at one point. But anyway, I said I wanted to say thanks to God. And I happened to buy my house from a church that lived next door to my house. And I said, well, I don't really want to go there because most of the people in that church had been in my house more than I had. So I was a little uncomfortable with going to that church. So I was like, well, I'll just Google close by Catholic church. And that's how I ended up at St. James.
Now, were you Catholic before?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And so you said you hadn't been to church in 20 plus years except for...
There were occasions I would go on Christmas every once in a while. And then, I would say in 2020, I started going to a close by Baptist church near my house. Just because I was watching YouTube videos and it just kind of felt like if Christianity doesn't last in the United States, I don't think my freedom will. So I went there for political reasons. But I did get a good introduction to St. Paul there, which I really liked hearing. And I went there quite a few times, but then I started going back to work because the COVID lockdowns had ended, and that all kind of went on the back burner, and then I bought my house.
So this first house where you went to the Baptist church was not even in Carroll County.
No.
Is that right? I think I remember that. And so you Googled and you found St. Joseph's. And so tell us about your beginnings here.
Well, I came here and the first thing I noticed was the greeters. And I was like, that's new. And then the other thing is that when I went into the church, I went over to the holy water and it was like almost like automatic function of going over to the holy water and making the sign of the cross. It was like auto, but I didn't even know the words to the prayer at that time. So that I keep thinking about that because when I went to the other church where I lived at my previous house, there wasn't anything that drove me to prayer, but I was actually at this church and I prayed right away, even not even knowing God was doing so.
So you felt something.
Yeah.
It sounds like you felt something.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you explain that? Or how do you think back to it? You felt a sense of something?
I don't think I could put it into words because it was almost like it was automatically there. But I do remember after that, I did go and do what I came to do, which I went over to, I knelt down and I said thank you to God for the sunrises that I got to see. And then I just haven't stopped saying thank you since. So I have to keep going.
Well, that's a wonderful start. I mean, coming into a church and just feeling grateful. I mean, that's a great beginning. Well, it seems like your curiosity for more kept you coming, right? I mean, how is coming back to the church after all that time been different for you? If it has, I'm assuming it's been different.
Different from
your first experiences in the Catholic Church, like years ago.
Oh, it's kind of hard to remember my first experiences because that was up until I was like maybe 14 years old when I kind of tapped out. So I don't remember exactly what I was experiencing at that age. I really just...
So why'd you tap out? A lot of people do, in high school, junior high school. Was there a particular reason or did it just...
I can't remember a specific reason, but I know when it started, I was probably at about 10 years old and I'd gone to another church And and I liked that experience because these people were just so happy to tell me about Jesus. And I wasn't getting that at the Catholic church I was going to. I was like, tell me more, tell me more. And then they were telling me, I was about 10 years old at this time, and I was like really liking what they were telling me. And so I started going every week, and my dad was kind of like at one point, I don't know how I feel about you going to this other church. And that time, when he said that, the next time I went, they talked about communion, and they talked about grape juice and saltine crackers. And I was not having that. So I told everybody how communion goes. At my church, they didn't like that. And I think they talked with my dad, and my dad had to sit me down and told me I couldn't go to that church anymore. So I think my dad was probably like, couldn't you just be a normal kid and smoke cigarettes or something? So, and from that point on, I kind of I don't know. I think I just started pushing away because I was like, why was what was going on over there so good? But,
Well, it sounds confusing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Say so.
You just got confused with the one arm going that way and the other arm going this way.
Yeah.
And what I hear in that, though, is you had a real thirst for Jesus.
Yeah.
Because that was something new to you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that? What was it that was bringing you to Jesus? What was so attractive to you? Because I think there are a lot of people listening here that may be in the same boat, that they didn't hear a whole lot about Jesus, and then, somebody started talking about it, and they're going, what was it that was so special to you?
I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. I don't know how to put it into words. It was like I was hearing them speak these words, and it sounded good, and I wanted to hear more of those words, but I can't articulate it.
I think what you're really saying is that it was a deep response on your part that just drew you, and I think that's our spirit. That's our soul drawing you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good way to put it, because it was just like the sunrise drove me that same way. So it was probably that same feeling.
Yeah.
I could connect those two.
Wow, it sounds really wonderful. I mean, it sounds like a very deep experience that you have with God. So how has it proceeded since you first started here? I know you've gotten involved with some things, and you've grown some probably, and now coming back as an adult. What are some of the more special things that you've experienced here?
Well,
let me ask you this. Maybe it'll tweak something. You've become a greeter. So, can you talk about that? I think you're not just any greeter, by the way. You are kind of wonderful greeter.
Yeah, I love standing out there and seeing everybody so happy as they're coming in to praise the Lord, and it's like I can read it on their faces. So you could say I'm doing something for them; they're doing something for me. I just love seeing it. So,
wow, again, that deep response on your part. Wow, that's wonderful. Now, in the Mass, I always ask people this. What's your favorite part of the Mass? I mean, it's maybe a little bit like favorite part of being Catholic, but do you have a favorite part?
I like the Sanctus prayer and imagining that being with the angels and imagining the angels and the saints and everybody being there during the Mass. Just a picture, especially when Father lifts up the host. And have you ever seen that picture where they got the angels and all the people are around? There's like a drawing that somebody made, or an artist, and I like imagining that.
It sounds so much like the way the Mass is described in the Bible. I mean, from the Scripture. And it sounds like you've really got a sense for that. Not everybody can picture that, but it seems like you've got sort of a visual way of experiencing things, being able to see that. I mean, I think now after talking with you, I'm going to start doing more of it because I'm hearing you say that and I'm going, oh, the angels, I can't miss the angels, right? So that's a beautiful thing, the Sanctus prayer. And, it's easy for us to miss things like that and just to say the words and just keep going. So that's one of your favorite things. Any other ones?
There is a come to mind, right?
That's pretty wonderful. But you've gotten involved now, and you've gotten involved with Catholic Daughters. I don't know if there are other things, but what do you enjoy about being involved in that one?
With the Catholic Daughters, I like, for the most part, for me, it's just a chance to hang out with people. I haven't gotten involved with too many of the activities yet, but someday I will. Just I can't right now because I'm doing other things. The other thing that I like that I just started doing is I recently just became a lector, and that is the first time I was reading was last week, and I had to practice the reading over and over and over again, which of course forced me to actually think about it. And then it's like when I'm actually saying it in front of people, it's like it's hitting me differently inside as I'm speaking it out to others. So, I'm really liking that.
Yeah, good for you, because it is recommended. I've heard this other times too, that when we read scripture, we read it out loud. I tend to not do that, and so then when you're a lector, you have to do that. And I think it says somewhere in educational theory that when you see something, if you see it, say it, even touch it, you hear it, whatever, all the senses get involved, and then it's even more real. So it sounds like you're experiencing that too.
Yeah.
So let me go back. I think I missed a few things. You mentioned your dad as being Catholic. How about that early childhood phase? It seems like you were going to church with your family. Is that right?
Yeah, we went every Sunday.
Okay, so that was a normal part of your upbringing.
Yeah, we went, all of us went to Catholic school from first grade through 12th grade.
Wow. What was that like? Because I didn't get to do that.
I'm not sure on how to compare it to other schools that aren't Catholic schools, so it's...
Well, were there things about having, I guess, talk to me about what occurred for you in Catholic school. Were you going to Mass?
We did have Mass during school days. We had religion class. We had, we went to the National Shrine in Montgomery County. I really did enjoy that on the regular because I lived in Lanham, so I went to a school there, so it was real close to there. So that was always cool.
Well, your experience in Catholic school and your upbringing certainly did teach you a lot of things, a lot of the prayers and all of that, but then you had a break, and now you're back.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what I'm learning now and what I'm remembering from the past. I can't make the connection.
Yeah. Well, what it sounds like is important to you is that deeper connection that you're feeling. The one that we were just talking about with the angels. I think that next time I see you, I'm probably going to think of those angels just maybe even above your head.
Nice.
Well, are there things that you would tell somebody who might be shopping for church or Catholic church in particular? What would you say to them as a new person? So pretend you're Google, but you could talk to them. What would you say to somebody looking for church or looking to learn more about Jesus? Would you encourage them? Sorry. Well, I have an idea. My guess is that you would probably say walk in and touch the holy water.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
That's sort of, I guess that's sort of what I imagined you were trying to say. But I think, getting inside the church all by itself, it's got to be something that would make a big difference to someone. Because it seemed like it made a big difference for you. Yeah. So once you Google somewhere, you go in and see it. Go in and feel it.
Yeah. Don't just think about it by looking at it online. Go ahead and try it out. See what happens.
So I'm curious, why did you want to do this interview?
I think the biggest reason is because I keep popping up everywhere at the church, and since I am fairly new, I kind of felt like, well, maybe I should tell people a little bit about myself in a way that really, it's not like I'm going to go up to people and say, oh, I came here because of X, Y, Z. I mean, that's not going to happen. So I figured, yeah.
So what else do you want to tell people about you?
Nothing. Sorry.
Well, what I see is that you are a deeply spiritual person, and that your role as a greeter in front of a Catholic church is a ministry for you. Well, do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I really enjoy it. So that helps out.
And I think it's something that's easy for us to take for granted, that you walk. And, my guess is I've greeted a few times. And so people can walk by you, right? I mean, there are probably all sorts of shapes and sizes of people that walk in, right?
Yeah, my favorites are when they come in and maybe they're a little bit grumpy and I can make them smile. That's always fun. Yeah, that's always good. But I do remember one time there was, you had been out for a little bit and it was your first time back. And I had you help people greet on your first time back.
Wow. I vaguely remember that one. So it was probably all thumbs, right?
No, we did a great job. Somebody was like, why are you putting her to work right away?
Well, it's very important. And Maria, I think you are a blessing to our church. You truly are. And taking your ministry at the front door so seriously is really important to a lot of people. And I think just thinking of when you go through the doors of a church, it matters to you how people greet you. And you take that to heart. And I know that a lot of people really appreciate that. And so I just want you to know that I appreciate it. I know Father John and Father Patrick do as well. So I appreciate you doing that. And thank you for doing your interviews. So now we can know who's behind that smiley face that we see when we come in.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Yeah. And so stay tuned for our next Journey interview. And we hope that you'll let us talk to you.